So what I'm working on today is trying to see if the yoke off of my S10 driveline will work with a 700 R4. Everything I read says that it should, but I've got something going on in here, I think. It won't quite, it'll go through the sill, but it won't go through there's a little bushing inside of there. So I'm gonna try and hope, I'll probably make a giant mess, but I'm gonna take this tail housing off so I can get to this tail, the output shaft. See if I can slide that on and then see what I've got going on with that bushing inside of there that keeps it from moving side to side. But there's so much on this that I have no clue what it is. So this thing's a 15. So I got this off. Looks like it has the original bushing in it. And it looks really, really bad. I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit. I got some 220 sandpaper. I'm gonna polish up this shaft. There's no oil in the transmission, so I'm kind of glad that I know that. The guy sold it to me as a rebuild, and I don't know. Is that too much? Is that bushing back inside too much? Nothing else looks like it has much wear on it, but I don't know. I guess that's shit, not just buying a rebuild. So we'll polish this up and then I'll try and put it on that tail pulley, or put the tail shaft over the top after I clean it up. Okay, I worked on this for a while and finding that the more frustrated I get, the less I video. And that might be because I might say some choice words here and there. But this is ridiculous. That the spline's right. It's a 27 spline on the output shaft and on the S10. 93 S10. It's got it was a 5-speed manual, so this yoke works. But the inside, I think, was so dang rusted because I let it sit outside for a year. Here, I'll flip this around. But I think it sat outside for a year and the spine's got all gunked up with rust. So I sprayed, where's that? This phosphorus up in it, phosphoric acid, to try and affect the rust. I think it worked. But I really hope, and I probably jacked the whole thing up, just knowing what I do about motors and bearings, that if you, on a motor, if you're putting the coupling on and you bang the coupling on, you probably, I think it's called brindling on the bearings, on the bearing race. I did that a lot because I couldn't get this thing off, so I used a block of wood and a hammer to knock it back off, and then I'd slide it back on and get a 1/4 inch, and then slide it off, get it back on, get 1/8 of an inch. But I can see where it ran at on the S10, I'm back like 3/4 of an inch, and I think I need to be 1 inch. Put it on, pull it back 1 inch. Is that correct? Maybe I need to have that running tight. I'm not sure how far to put this thing on. I think I've got some smart guys at work that I can talk to. Don't tell them I said that, but they can help me get that yoke in the right position. But this transmission is out of an '89 Camaro, and I was told that it was rebuilt. And just looking at this end sill on the output shaft, maybe they rebuilt the rest and just left that sill, but the sill looks like garbage. It looks like it's from 1989. So when I get the new yoke, I'll put that on. I'm not sure what test to do on the engine or on the transmission until I get going down the road and hear it go kaboom, and then I get to figure out how to pull it apart. Let me clean this up a little bit, and I'll go through and I'll show you the code 504 and what I've been working on as far as tightening everything up, because I got the engine on, I had the cab on last week and had some issues with how I set the engine originally. So I got the engine set, I got everything tightened up on the 504 kit. The engine's sitting where it's gonna sit. Hopefully I don't have to get an electric fan, because if the engine sits too far forward, it gets right up in the radiator. And so I'll show you that. That's why I pulled the cab off, so I can get this done. And then I went through and I started tightening the brackets down. The brackets lined up near perfectly, and I'll show you each one of the sets of brackets. There's been some issues. Somebody asked a question. They've got a 504 kit and they didn't get their bump stop or their cab mount rubber. I don't know what they're called for sure, but their rubber you know what I'm talking about, but they didn't get theirs either. So code 504, you need to send that stuff. It's a really good product, but if you don't have those, it's frustrating. Like, and I was frustrated because I'll use them on the front for where the radiator core support goes, but back here on the cab I won't use them because I think it puts the cab up too high. And the way that the old ones were, I'll probably just use an 1/8 inch piece of rubber between the cab and this mount is my plan. But code 504 needs to do a better job sending that stuff. Instead, they told me they sent it. I couldn't find it anywhere. It didn't help that it took me a year to put it on, but I said I didn't get it. They didn't agree with me. I asked them, well, it's $30, send me another one. And they said, well, we can't get them. So she sent me the web address, and I'll show you the box that they came in. Sent me the web address with what I needed. I ordered it and it was here 3 days later. It didn't make any sense, but as far as, that's the only complaint that I have, and it's not really that big of a complaint. It's just frustrating when you're going through and you've spent $1,500 for the kit and that winds up happening. It's one of those, you'll tell how many people about a good experience at a business. They say you tell 7 people, but if you had a bad experience, you'll tell 100. So that's kind of how it went with those stops. But if I did this again, I do think I'd buy the 504 kit where I sit right now, as far as where everything's lining up. let me get this cleaned up and I'll show you what I got. Okay, hopefully this light doesn't, it's gonna cast shadows no matter what. So these are little bumpers, the rubber mounts that they sent. I think they're too thick for in the back, but you can see over time, I don't know if that's a prep issue, but that port 15's peeling a little bit, but the metal underneath looks pretty good. I'll probably hit that again before I go through and before I put the clip back on. So this is the Grand Slam kit that I got. So, whoops. Yeah, you won't be able to see any of this without that light. So this plate, it goes to the old motor mount holes, 1, 2, 3, and then it slides everything backwards. You have to cut a little access hole there. If you're dumb like me, I had the springs out and I didn't put those plates on, and I should have. My problem the other day was my gap for my motor mount, getting everything level. That's why I took it off. I slid it forward. You can see how close your manual fuel pump is when you do the Grand Slam. That's why you can't run a manual fuel pump. You have to run an electric because it hits right into that mount. But I think they're plenty beefy. They're pretty nice. Then these horn mounts, I still don't have these finished in. Flat washer both sides with a star washer on them. This side, it screws right into your power steering, but you can see what my issue is with my power steering, or my steering shaft. That's going right next to the exhaust manifold. I'm gonna get some different exhaust manifolds. This one's a back dump. You can see I have plenty of room. This one is a mid dump and it goes right into my A-arm. I still don't have my shocks in there. But, and yes, my tires are on backwards. These are 14-inch rims. I need a 15-inch rim. Not sure on the offset yet. You can see I still got Bondo all over the floor. These bolt into the old transmission mount holes here and over there, and that lined up perfectly. It was quite nice. I've left it loose because they have some adjustment up and down in them, so take care of that. And here, the transmission support, put it in. I was watching a guy named Showphil, I think. He did a code 504 kit, and I think his complaint with this bracket was founded. Looking at it, I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm not smart like he was. I might drill some holes in it so the water will drain out, but that's gonna fill with dirt if I drive this a bunch and eventually rust out. So the other thing is this bracket here, I believe, can't remember if I had to drill those holes or not, but you reach back in through this hole. You can see the hole on the other side better. Reach back in there and you bolt that in. But on the code code 504 videos, they say you need a different plate, this mounting plate. Holding this still while doing that's hard, but this mounting plate they say is for like a turbo 350, but she says that it's not for a $700 4. Well, they've altered their bracket, I believe, because you see back here, this should be able to slide, but I have both bolts in the forward slot. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see right there. Here's the back slot. There's a back slot and the front slot. But that worked out good. It worked easiest to hook this plate to the transmission and then drop it all down and then put all the bolts together. I kind of wish, it probably won't matter, but I should have put the nuts out instead of in. But hopefully I'm not taking it out for a while. And then these back, you have to drill all these holes. Put that up. You have to drill all of these, top and bottom. This is the rear cab mount. So this wind up finishing out like that. I'm running the S10 fuel tank for a while, and I think I need to smash it a little bit because these bolts here aren't tightened, and I think that whole thing is rocked forward. But as you can tell, I don't have the bed on straight. But oh, you can see my mess. I've done a good job hiding my mess. But back here, I'm missing, there's one more bracket that comes over and bolts right into that hole. I still need to tighten that, as you can tell. But right here, so you have your rear or your front brace for the bed. The holes line up perfectly in this bed and cab. It all lines right up. I had a question. Is the front bumpers, this one didn't have a rear bumper on it. Is the front and rear bumper the same? If you could let me know. But I think I'm gonna get that pulled out of the way. Let me know what I need to do more on that as far as pushing it in more. If that's good, get a measurement. Let me know. Thanks to all the new subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thanks for all the help you've given me. Mark, you're awesome. Frank, Bondo Bob, and some others. Thank you so much. You guys have been a lifesaver so far on this. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you haven't. And click the bell for notification. Thank you.